Stop everything you're doing right now, because what just exploded behind the scenes of Hollywood isn't just another celebrity breakup rumor. This is the kind of story that sends publicists into panic mode, lawyers scrambling for emergency calls, and fan communities completely melting down overnight. Because according to insiders, the quiet fallout between Teyana Taylor and Pierre was never just about heartbreak. It was about a secret. A secret so explosive that when Teyana allegedly discovered it, the entire dynamic of their relationship changed in a single moment. And the threat she reportedly made after uncovering it. People close to the situation say it left Aaron's team in absolute shock. For months, fans thought the story was simple. Two powerful stars. A romance that burned bright. Then suddenly, silence. The photos disappeared. The likes stopped. The red carpet moments vanished like they had never happened. But insiders are now claiming that the digital erasure wasn't just emotional cleanup. It was strategic. Because behind that silence, a confrontation allegedly took place that very few people knew about at the time. A confrontation that sources say involved screenshots, private recordings, and a revelation that Pierre never expected Teyana Taylor to see. The moment she allegedly discovered what had been hidden, everything changed. The love. The trust. The entire relationship. And according to multiple whispers circulating through industry circles, the aftermath wasn't just a breakup. It was an ultimatum. A chilling warning delivered behind closed doors that insiders say could have destroyed not just one career, but potentially exposed an entire system inside Hollywood. Now social media detectives are digging through old interviews, viral clips, and cryptic posts, trying to piece together what really happened. Because if even a fraction of these leaked details are true, then the story fans thought they knew about Teyana Taylor and Pierre might only be the surface of something much bigger. Something darker. Something that could still explode if the truth ever fully comes out. The moment the first whispers began circulating about what really happened between Teyana Taylor and Pierre, most people dismissed it as another overblown celebrity rumor. Hollywood breakups are messy all the time. Fans speculate. Gossip pages exaggerate. Then the story fades away. But this time, something about the silence felt different. Because the digital cleanup that followed their breakup was almost surgical. Photos vanished overnight. Comments were wiped. Mutual friends suddenly stopped mentioning both names in the same conversation. Even fan pages that had spent months celebrating them as the internet's favorite unexpected couple quietly deleted edits and tributes like the relationship had never existed. That kind of coordinated erasure doesn't usually happen unless something serious happened behind the scenes. And according to insiders who claim they witnessed the earliest cracks, the trouble didn't begin with a dramatic betrayal or a public scandal. It began with suspicion. Small, quiet details that slowly started bothering Teyana long before anyone outside their inner circle noticed something was wrong. At first, it was travel. Aaron's trips back to the UK became more frequent, and according to one source close to Teyana, his communication during those trips started changing. Calls that used to come instantly would suddenly take hours. Messages would arrive late at night with vague explanations about meetings or family visits. None of it looked suspicious on paper. But patterns have a way of revealing themselves over time. And people close to Teyana say she began noticing those patterns almost immediately. The thing about Teyana Taylor that many people underestimate is that she's not just an artist. She's observant, strategic, and very aware of how people move when they're hiding something. According to someone who claims to have spoken with her during that period, she didn't immediately confront Aaron. Instead, she watched, listened, Collected details. The time gaps in communication. The way his tone changed when certain topics came up. The occasional tension when conversations drifted toward his life overseas. None of it proved anything on its own. But slowly, a quiet suspicion started forming in her mind. Then came the discovery that insiders say changed everything. It reportedly happened during an ordinary moment that no one expected to become the turning point. A shared device. Sources say Aaron had occasionally used a tablet while visiting Teyana's place, something they used during creative sessions when discussing music visuals, scripts, and production ideas. The device was synced to a cloud account that automatically updated files and messages across multiple devices. Normally, that wouldn't matter. But one evening while organizing project files, Teyana allegedly noticed a folder she didn't recognize. Not hidden. Just unfamiliar. Curiosity is a powerful thing. According to someone who later heard the story directly from someone in her circle, she opened it expecting to find work-related material. Instead, what appeared on the screen reportedly stopped her cold. The folder contained a collection of images, documents, and archived messages. And according to insiders, the content suggested that Aaron had been maintaining another private life entirely separate from the one he shared with her in the United States. At first, she reportedly thought the files were old. Something from before their relationship. But the timestamps told a different story. Some of the messages were recent. Very recent. Conversations that had taken place while he was publicly appearing alongside her at events. That realization alone would have been devastating. But what she allegedly discovered next is what insiders say turned heartbreak into something far more explosive. Buried among the personal messages were a series of emails between Aaron and members of his management team overseas. And the language inside those emails reportedly made Teyana's blood run cold. Because according to the source who claims to have seen the messages, the emails didn't just discuss Aaron's career strategy. They discussed his relationship. Specifically, his relationship with her. The messages allegedly described the romance as beneficial positioning for his American image. One email reportedly mentioned that pairing Aaron with a respected, well-known artist in the US could help strengthen his appeal with American audiences before several major projects launched. Another message allegedly described the relationship as helping him appear more relatable and more grounded to a new audience. When Teyana realized what she was looking at, insiders say the emotional impact was immediate. Because the discovery suggested something far worse than simple dishonesty. It suggested manipulation. The possibility that the relationship she believed was genuine may have also been useful to people shaping Aaron's public image. For someone known for her authenticity and loyalty, that idea reportedly hit like a punch to the gut. But according to sources close to her, the shock didn't immediately turn into confrontation. Instead, she did something far more calculated. She started documenting everything. Screenshots, file copies, message timestamps. Over the next 2 days, insiders say she quietly gathered every piece of evidence she could find. Not because she wanted revenge. Because she understood how quickly stories can be rewritten in Hollywood. If a breakup became public, narratives would start forming instantly. Sources, spin, rumors. And if she didn't protect herself first, the truth might disappear before anyone ever heard it. During those 48 hours, people who interacted with her say she appeared completely normal. Meetings continued. Creative work continued. Even conversations with Aaron reportedly continued as if nothing had changed. But internally, something had shifted. The woman who believed she was building a relationship was now looking at the situation through an entirely different lens. And by the time Aaron returned from his latest trip, insiders say she already had everything she needed. The files, the messages, the receipts. The only thing left was the confrontation. According to a source who claims to have heard the story from someone inside Aaron's camp, he had no idea what was waiting for him when he walked into the room that night. He thought they were meeting to talk about upcoming plans. Instead, he walked into what insiders now describe as the moment everything exploded. Because sitting on the table in front of Teyana was a laptop. And on that screen was the folder. The one he never expected her to see. The room reportedly went silent the second Pierre realized what he was looking at. According to insiders who later heard about the confrontation, the moment he stepped closer and recognized the folder on the laptop screen, the entire atmosphere shifted. What he had walked into expecting to be a normal conversation had suddenly turned into something else entirely. A reckoning. Teyana didn't yell. She didn't throw accusations across the room. In fact, people who claim to know what happened say the most unsettling part of the confrontation was how calm she was. She simply turned the laptop toward him and waited. On the screen were the files he never expected her to see. The archived messages, the timestamps, the management emails discussing image strategy. And according to someone who says they spoke with a member of Aaron's extended team afterward, it took him several seconds to even process what was happening. Because once he realized what she had uncovered, there was no easy explanation left. No clever deflection. No misunderstanding. Just evidence. For several long moments, insiders say the room stayed completely quiet except for the soft hum of the laptop. Then Aaron finally spoke. At first, he allegedly tried to explain. Not aggressively. Carefully. He reportedly suggested that the emails had been taken out of context, that management teams often discuss public perception in ways that sound worse than they actually are. He insisted the relationship was real, that the conversations between managers didn't reflect his personal feelings. But the explanation didn't change the fact that the emails existed. And Teyana reportedly pointed out something that instantly shut down his defense. The dates. Some of the messages discussing beneficial positioning had been sent while they were actively attending events together, smiling for cameras, presenting themselves as a genuine couple. That detail reportedly made the room feel even heavier. Because it suggested the strategy wasn't theoretical. It was happening in real time. Sources say Aaron tried to shift the conversation back toward their personal connection, insisting that whatever his team discussed behind the scenes didn't define the reality of their relationship. But by that point, insiders say the conversation had already crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. For Teyana, the issue wasn't just whether the relationship had real feelings behind it. It was the possibility that parts of it had also been useful to people building someone else's career narrative. And for someone who had already lived through public scrutiny in past relationships, that realization reportedly hit deeper than Aaron expected. According to a source who claims to know what happened next, that's when the conversation turned into something far more intense. Because instead of continuing the emotional debate, Teyana did something unexpected. She picked up her phone, opened a folder, and showed Aaron something that insiders say immediately changed his expression. Screenshots. Not just of the messages she had found, but of everything. Every email. Every archived conversation. Every file she had quietly copied over the previous 2 days. The moment he realized how much she had documented, the tone of the room reportedly shifted again. Not panic, but something close to it. Because in Hollywood, evidence is power. And the amount of material she had gathered meant the situation was no longer just a personal argument between two people. It had the potential to become something much bigger. Something public. That realization reportedly triggered the next phase of the confrontation. Aaron's team. Sources claim that during the heated discussion that followed, a call was placed to someone in his management circle. Within minutes, the situation had escalated beyond the two of them in the room. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just emotional. It was strategic. According to insiders, voices on the phone began talking about solutions. Public statements. Private agreements. Ways to handle the breakup quietly before rumors could spiral. But one particular suggestion reportedly changed everything. Because someone on the call allegedly floated the idea of resolving the situation, with a mutual statement emphasizing respect and privacy, framing the breakup in a way that would avoid controversy. The problem? That version of events didn't reflect what Teyana had discovered. And insiders say the moment she realized the narrative was already being shaped, her patience disappeared. That's when she reportedly delivered the statement that people close to the situation still talk about. A warning. Simple. Direct. And according to those who heard about it later, absolutely chilling. She allegedly told them she didn't need a carefully crafted statement. She already had the truth. And if anyone tried to rewrite the story in a way that made her look like the villain, she would release everything. The emails. The messages. The entire folder. But the threat didn't stop there. According to someone who claims to have spoken with a person inside the call, she made it clear that exposing the material wouldn't just affect Aaron. It would expose the strategy behind it. The managers. The conversations. The entire system that had treated her relationship like a marketing advantage. That possibility reportedly sent the room into a new level of tension. Because scandals involving private relationships are one thing. But scandals suggesting industry manipulation, that's a completely different level of damage. For a few minutes, insiders say the conversation became chaotic. Lawyers talking. Managers talking. Everyone suddenly aware that the situation had become far more dangerous than anyone expected. And through all of it, Teyana reportedly remained calm. She wasn't shouting. She wasn't threatening dramatically. She was simply stating a boundary. If the story stayed quiet, the evidence stayed private. But if anyone tried to spin the narrative against her, the entire archive would become public. That moment, insiders say, is what led to the strange silence that followed the breakup. No public feud. No messy interviews. No sources leaking dramatic accusations. Just quiet. And now people in Hollywood circles believe they understand why. Because what fans saw as mutual respect may have actually been something else entirely. Mutual restraint. But here's where the story takes an even more shocking turn. Because according to one person who claims to have knowledge of what happened after that confrontation ended, there was one final moment before Teyana walked out of the room. One sentence she allegedly said to Aaron that insiders say left him completely speechless. A sentence that hinted she might not have shown him everything she found in that folder. The moment Teyana Taylor stood up from that table, the atmosphere in the room reportedly felt completely different. What had started as a private confrontation had quietly transformed into something far more dangerous, a situation where everyone involved suddenly realized the stakes were no longer just emotional. According to insiders who later heard about the confrontation from multiple people connected to the situation, the final minutes of that meeting were the most intense. Not because voices were raised. Because everything became quiet. Teyana had already made her position clear. She had the messages. She had the emails. She had the screenshots that connected the entire chain of conversations about her relationship being discussed like a strategic asset instead of a personal commitment. But just before she left the room, sources say she turned back toward Aaron and delivered one final line that reportedly froze the conversation completely. She told him that the folder he had just seen wasn't the only place she had looked. That sentence reportedly landed like a bomb. Because if the laptop contained everything she had already shown him, the idea that there might be more material somewhere else changed the entire power dynamic instantly. According to someone who claims to have spoken with a person inside Aaron's team shortly after the meeting ended, the realization that additional files could exist sent his management into immediate damage control mode. Phones started ringing that same night. Lawyers were contacted. Public relations advisors began discussing strategies for how to keep the situation contained if rumors ever started leaking. But the most surprising part of the aftermath wasn't chaos. It was silence. A complete and total silence that spread through both sides of the situation almost overnight. Fans noticed it immediately. Normally, when a celebrity breakup occurs, the internet becomes flooded with subtle signals. Cryptic captions, emotional interviews, friends liking posts that reveal hidden sides in the drama. But this time, nothing like that happened. No public statements. No interviews hinting at betrayal. No anonymous sources feeding gossip outlets. Just an abrupt digital disappearance. Photos were removed. Shared memories vanished from timelines. Mutual friends stopped referencing the relationship entirely. It was almost as if both sides had agreed that whatever had happened would stay locked behind closed doors. But Hollywood is not built for silence. And when people stop talking publicly, speculation grows louder. Within days, fans began piecing together their own theories. Some believed the breakup was simply a painful but private emotional split. Others suspected there had been a deeper conflict neither side wanted to reveal. Then came the social media chaos. A single cryptic post from Teyana reignited the entire conversation. It wasn't directed at anyone by name. Just a short caption about protecting your peace and trusting your instincts. But within minutes of appearing online, screenshots were circulating across Twitter, TikTok, and fan forums. People began connecting it to the rumors about the confrontation. Suddenly the internet was divided. One side believed the post was a subtle message about walking away from something toxic. Another side argued that fans were reading too much into a general motivational quote. But the speculation didn't stop there. Because around the same time, Aaron appeared at a promotional event where reporters asked him about balancing relationships and career pressure. For a brief moment, he hesitated before answering. The pause was only a few seconds. But online, those seconds became a viral moment. Clips of the hesitation spread across social media with captions suggesting he had almost said something he wasn't supposed to reveal. Reaction videos exploded. Comment sections filled with theories. Some viewers insisted his expression showed regret. Others argued it showed frustration. And a few believed it showed fear. The more the internet debated, the more the story grew. Celebrities began reacting in subtle ways. One well-known artist liked a post praising Teyana's independence. Another actor shared a quote about loyalty and honesty in relationships. Neither comment mentioned Aaron directly. But fans interpreted every interaction as choosing sides in a drama that no one involved was publicly discussing. Behind the scenes, insiders say the tension remained just as intense as it had been the night of the confrontation. Because even though nothing had been exposed publicly, the possibility that it could still happen never completely disappeared. According to a source who claims to have spoken with someone close to Aaron, the uncertainty created a strange situation for his team. They couldn't openly defend themselves, without risking provoking the release of whatever evidence Teyana might still have. But staying silent allowed rumors to grow without any official narrative to counter them. It became a delicate balancing act. And that tension reportedly continued for weeks. Meanwhile, Teyana moved forward publicly with